talk too much. I can't believe the things that you say.
With Fred Thompson,
Senator Edwards,
John Edwards,
Mike Huckabee. I was surprised by the endorsement for Thompson, but, you know, my surprise was nothing compared to the surprise of the people out in America who have been faithful supporters of right to life. Fred's never had a 100% record on right to life in his Senate career. The records reflect that.
I have said that nothing would pass my desk that would promote or finance or fund abortion without my veto. But you've got to be within the realm of whatever the law is at the time.
Well, the one thing that I was noticing is that Giuliani, I mean, he could benefit from the fact that all of the conservatives, the social conservatives, could be split.
You've taken to calling Governor Huckabee a pro-life liberal. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it means he's pro-life, but he's liberal on everything else.
Like?
Like taxes, like illegal immigration enforcement.
They took a 1-minute clip out of about a 20-minute speech. And if you listen to the entire context, what you find is that we were dealing at that point with a real crisis. We had come to an impasse in our previous regular session. This was a special session. We were a few days away from having no budget and shutting state government down. Oh, it probably doesn't convince anybody. The spots we'll run next week will start doing that. But what it does do is exactly what it's doing this morning, getting a lot of attention, driving people to our website.
Well, elections are rich with irony, and having one of Governor Romney's people talk about somebody else buying something has got to be one of the most ironic things that's happened in this campaign. Why is that? Well, because he's spent probably $60 million, including 20 or 30 of his own personal fortune. And I'm really perplexed as to why they would insult the very people who they've been assiduously courting now for months, trying to get that endorsement. My original statement was on this, is that I don't know enough about the facts. Well, they made a big deal out of it. I mean, people wrote about it. Thompson doesn't know about Shivo for a long, long time, when in fact it was just trying to avoid getting into the minds and the details of this poor girl here.
I was speaking the truth, and both today and in that debate on Thursday night, and I will continue to speak the truth. And there's nothing there. This is not mud. And by the way, the answer to each of those things is for Senator Clinton to lay out her position. But using, poll-tested slogans is not an answer. It's fascinating to watch how quickly Washington insiders, including the Clinton campaign, rally the forces and circle the wagons to protect politicians instead of talking about what we can do together to bring universal health care to the country. What I said several years ago still holds true. I mean, we want people to have training and education and to be licensed if they're going to operate vehicles. But I think now we're in the context of what are we going to do about the bigger issue of immigration reform.
The Edwards folks had a really bad night. And this is just one night. But if he starts fading too quickly, the odd thing here is that's actually not good for Clinton. Mm-hmm. When you go to the second choice, when you don't get the threshold and all this stuff, Obama does right now a lot better than she does because of this change argument.
To Obama on just the driver's licenses question. The question then is, how did you get from that position to the several interim positions she took and finally to this one, which is the reverse of what she seemed to be saying in the previous debate? She was never asked that question. She was never further, and Obama could certainly have raised it. She was never asked anything further about the library. Obama could have raised that.
You heard very little about Iraq last night. What does that tell you about the party and what they think about the utility of raising the issue?
Well, I think that in fact was one of the most fascinating things about the evening, and except they once again had the argument over who was right about Iraq first.
If you look at Gallup polling in mid-April, Rudy Giuliani was at 38 and Hillary Clinton was at 37 nationally. Today, she is at 48 nationally, he is at 28. The Democratic race has consolidated around a single candidate and a single question, really. Do you want Hillary Clinton as the nominee, I think, is the driving question. The Republican race continues to fragment.
The fact of the matter is, I think a Huckabee victory in Iowa would probably hurt Romney more than it would help Huckabee in some ways. When you look ahead to New Hampshire, I think it's pretty tough for him.
Sorry about getting in your shot like that.
Talk too